Tunnels, What We Did as Kids is a hilariously funny nonfiction novel based off of 5 kids that grew up in Avon Valley and created a secret club society in the Arizona desert. They built tree forts and tunnels, but the tree forts were the cover for the tunnels, actually, that these kids were constructing that were literally the size of 2 double-wide trailers, until one day during that summer they had a major fire and it broke out and it uncovered the entire tunnel complex and revealed it to an oblivious neighborhood that had no idea that these tunnels even existed. The structures and the way these kids designed them were just amazing. Deep enough that you could actually stand up in, and so many rooms, and you could actually live in this tunnel. But it was held over one summer vacation and just completely oblivious to everybody in the Avon Valley area. For those that don't know, Avon Valley is now Picture Rocks. It's about 20 to 30 miles from Tucson, Arizona, and it's in a rural area of the desert where pretty much the roads aren't still paved, or still aren't paved. They're still desert. The main characters, Thomas, Chris, Vito, Carlos, and Veronica. Even though the club complex was males only, Thomas had a mad crush on Veronica, who later in the book they'll explain what happened to her. Hilariously funny, ridiculously funny things that happened to these kids. The things that they did over the summer were just ridiculously hilarious as they terrorized the entire neighborhood. I feel that the book itself would be better suited for kids, teens. Anyone can really read this book. There's no vulgarity in it. It's pretty much Christian based, but it's hilariously funny, and it leaves something to the imagination of the general public that it'll take you back to your own childhood and give back to a nation that is pretty much suffering during this economy. If I could sum it up in a short sentence of appealing to the readers, I would have to say this book, it basically has many different things for the reader. It basically will take them back to the good old days, 60s, 70s, 80s, when you were a kid, and some of the crazy things we used to do. About me, let's see. I'm a retired disabled veteran of 18 and a half years of military service till I became disabled. I've been writing for about 27 years, and I was inspired by my language arts teacher, who gave me the knowledge and the desire to continue writing. To date, I've written some 58 different works, to include training programs for law enforcement when I spent time in the military as a military policeman. In 2005, when I retired, I basically just focused on my novels, published Diaries of a Soldier, Nightmares from Within. It's based off of PTSD. A second edition of that will come out, and then the sequel to it will come out to Diaries of a Soldier, called Storming the Gates of Heaven and Hell, A Lifetime Crucifixion. It basically will help soldiers and their family members, or anyone who has dealt with the trauma of PTSD and combat in the military way of life, some kind of comfort in figuring out what's wrong with them, if anything at all. Tunnels, What We Did as Kids is basically a relief from all that. The only type of novels that I really like writing are nonfiction. I base a lot of it off of my life and what happened during my life, and giving back to the communities and the world at large, trying to put it in perspective for them. sometimes making it hilariously funny. In this case, Tunnels, What We Did as Kids is a hilariously funny book. Highly recommended to anyone who wishes to read it. And I will be putting it in multiple languages for the entire world to read. If I had to pick one of the funniest parts of the book, let's see. I mean, it's pretty good part. Pretty good parts. I'd have to say that it would be the supervillains and superheroes part, where my brother and I confiscated a couple sheets from our stepmother, and we did some pretty wild things, jumping off of buildings and getting ourselves stuck in the position, squatting position, when we ran around and jumped off of these buildings. And we were too small to jump at that height, but just the things that happened, it was ridiculously funny. As you'll read through the novel itself, other parts that were just hilariously funny, especially out here in Arizona. There's a lot of cactus everywhere, so there's a lot of stuff with people involving cactus and getting cactus stuck inside them. Tunnels, What We Did as Kids is the name of the book. You can find it through AuthorHouse, authorhouse.com. Just type in my last name, Schombert, Schombert, and you can either get the book sent to you, or if you're lucky enough to catch me at a book signing, that would be even better. You can find it at your local bookstores, through Ingram's, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much any bookstore. It's print on demand, and there's also a downloadable ebook if you're interested in that. It's a little bit cheaper, but you can get all these things through AuthorHouse, which is the easiest way to get it, since they are the publisher for the book. The book does come out in November, just in time for Christmas, so it'd be a great stocking stuffer for those that want to have the book. Yeah.